The totem pole represents the Indian spoken traditions that existed in North America prior to colonization. These were orally passed down from generation to generation. They are, however, stories and are therefore considered literature. The particular tradition represented here is how the buzzard got his feathers. Many traditions served similar purposes, describing an animal along with a moral. No important author or great work can summarize such a wide and diverse era. The flag on the coast is the Odinic raven banner, a flag used by many Viking chieftains. 2 to 5 Icelandic works from the 11th century involved Norse settlers in America. These are Eirik the Red Saga, Saga of the Greenlanders, the Hauksbok, and Flatey Book. The quote written is from Eirik the Red Saga. The book describes the discovery and colonization of America. Historians believe that Vinland, the location the Norse settle, is modern-day Newfoundland, and traditional Viking houses have been found in the region confirming this theory. The literature from this era and this group is utilitarian in nature, a recording of history for posterity. There are either many authors or unknown authors for each of these books. The boat pictured represents the colonization of America by Europeans, particularly by the English. The rocky shore pictured between the pole and the boat represents the immediately rocky relations that the settlers experienced with the natives. Anne Bradstreet wrote Contemplations, a poem mentioned here. This early Western European settler literature typically involves nature and its challenges, in addition to a reverence for God and a respect for family life. The passage written on the poster represents the fear of God and a reverence for nature.
So this literary period was known as the Revolutionary period, and it was called that because much of the writing, almost all of the writing and all the notable writing works during this time were based off of the American Revolution, which was the major event that was happening at the time. So notable works that happened during the American Revolution a lot of them were pamphlets, because they were pamphlets urging people to join the revolution and join the fight. Typically they were patriot pamphlets, such as Common Sense by Thomas Paine was the most notable one of the patriot pamphlets, but there were some by loyalists or people that were for the British and against the Patriots. And one such person that wrote these pamphlets was Matthew Byler. Notable works during this time were Common Sense, as I already mentioned. The Declaration of Independence was a notable work, and that was declaring independence from Britain, which started the American Revolution, so it's one of the most notable works during this time. Collected poems of Phyllis Wheatley, who actually, she didn't really write much about the American Revolution. She wrote more about nature and slavery and God than the American Revolution, but she sometimes included some themes of the Revolution in her poems. The Treaty of Paris, which ended the war, The Interests of Great Britain, Letters from a Farm in Pennsylvania, The Adulterer, The Fall of British Tyranny, and you can see all of these listed on the poster where the Declaration of Independence is, and so I substituted out their titles for the Declaration of Independence context, and then the signatures down below them are the signatures of the authors of all of those books. And also on the poster there is a picture of a boat, which is the most famous painting from this time, called Washington Crossing Delaware, but instead of the soldiers, there are the faces of the writers, specifically Stephen Sayre, Phyllis Wheatley, Thomas Jefferson, Philip Freneau, Matthew Byler, Benjamin Rush, Ben Franklin, and then as Washington is Thomas Paine leading the fight, because Thomas Paine was one of the most, if not the most notable writers that characterize this period.